I'm just Nick, and this is the Catalinbread Perseus sub-octave fuzz. So, this is just an awesome pedal. The one you see here is a custom hand-painted version with the artwork done by the very brilliant Charlotte Thompson, who's been doing a whole range of extremely cool and very varied hand-painted pedals for Catalinbread, which you can buy on their site, or now I guess they're going to make them available through dealers, which is really great. And I love the way this pedal looks. The stock model is also very attractive and features a graphic of the Greek hero Perseus holding up Medusa's detached head. But in fact, the pedal's name is really referencing apparently the Perseus cluster, a star cluster with a black hole at the middle from which, according to the copy on the site, the lowest sound in the galaxy or perhaps the universe emanates. So the emphasis here is on the fact that this is not just any fuzz, this is a sub-octave fuzz, a fuzz that combines a very edgy sort of square wave type of fuzz sound with an octave down, or with this switch we can even switch it to mix in a 2-octave down tone. And the amazing thing about this pedal is both that it's voiced in a really special musical way, but also that it tracks very well. And that's not something that you find that often in an octave down pedal, especially where fuzz is concerned. So when you heard me playing just now, I did get a little carried away because I love the sound of this thing and I love its response. I was playing with the tone control on my Telecaster with single coils rolled all the way back, because that'll help with the tracking a little bit, and it makes the tone more stable. So I now have it set up to basically be mixing half octave and half fuzz, a mix of both. And I have it set for 1 octave down. And with the tone control rolled all the way back, I get just beautiful, beautiful tracking and really long sustain and dead silent operation because it has a gate built in. So, and I should say that the gate is very, very well implemented. It gives you just enough sustain even for these relatively low output single coils, and at some settings you can get infinite sustain. And when it cuts off fairly cleanly. And you know, it's just very usable. I mean, I've used it live. I even, the day that I got this, I had to play an acoustic soul gig, and you know, what kind of an idiot would whip out a crazy square wave sub-octave fuzz on an acoustic soul gig? Well, this kind of idiot. And it was really, really fun to play. I mean, you know, it actually worked. I could get some kind of crazy, you know, Ernie Isley on an extra batch of mushroom sounds. And I enjoyed it. And it tracks well enough that you can really use it even in a situation that's not really calling for craziness and dissonance. So I should stop talking and show you the rest of the sounds of this thing. So that was the 1 octave down. We switch this way. Now the regular fuzz signal is going to be mixed with 2 octaves down. And in fact, the speaker can't actually reproduce what's on the low. So my really point here is to demonstrate that this thing tracks just brilliantly, even with string bending, even occasionally with 2 notes. it remains musical even on the 2-octave down setting, which opens up crazy possibilities. I mean, you can definitely blow some shit up with this thing. So the controls here, and I always forget which is which because they're not labeled, but I discovered recently that it really doesn't matter if you forget which is which because it sounds good on virtually every setting. If I'm not mistaken, this is the cut knob, which kind of controls the high end and low end. It's kind of a tone control. Over here, it's kind of rolling off the bottom a little bit so that you don't overwhelm the input of your amp with low frequency content that's going to sound all mushy and kind of compressed. So you can kind of tune it to get enough low end without too much. And full this way, we're just going to get tons. And at this relatively low volume setting, it's not a problem with this amp. But if you had a amp that was cranked way the hell up and, you know, both the input and output stages were distorting, then, you know, you'd want this ability to tune, you know, the amount of low end that's hitting the front end of the amp. And then you have this mix knob, which controls how much of the octave and how much of the straight fuzz you're getting. That's just straight fuzz. Sounds kind of like their Merkin fuzz, which is a very edgy, beautifully kind of resonant and cutting fuzz. So you also just get an amazing standard fuzz pedal here that you can use with chords too. And at this, you know, gain level has surprising note separation. And if we go all the way the other way, we're just going to get the octave fuzz. Two down. And it begins on these lower notes to get a slightly atonal sort of quality to it, a little ring mod type of quality. Now, at this standard setting, if I roll my tone control back up, I still get amazing sounds, and they're less stable, but less stable in an interesting and musical way, where the tracking will jump around a little bit more. So if you sort of want to introduce just a little bit of randomness and chaos, you can control how much with your guitar's tone control, because as you add high frequency content, the tracking gets a little more squirrely, but again in a very musical way. So really, as usual, I'm talking too much. You can hear this pedal is pretty special, and it's cool. I don't know what else you want me to say, really. And you should get a hold of the folks at Rock and Roll Vintage, and they will hook you up. And you should check out the incredibly cool hand-painted Charlotte Thompson pedals on the Catalinbread site, or at your Catalinbread dealer, like Rock and Roll Vintage. I think they have some coming in the mail as we speak. Until next time.